Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to me drawing my life. So, let's just get started. I was born in 1994 in Peoria, Illinois, and I had my dad, and I had my mom, and my two older sisters, Candace and Holly. And to my knowledge, everything was great. I was just a princess in my own head until my parents got divorced when I was 2. And my mom moved to New York and my dad remarried. And we had a stepsister now whose name was Star. And I always said that I felt like Cinderella because she would make me do things like call me in the room to grab the remote for her. So, yeah. And sweep the stairs. Anyways, I was always a really good student. I got straight A's basically my entire life. I made school my kind of my home. I had tons of friends and I joined the cheerleading squad, and I also got really involved in drama when I was in middle school doing little plays and stuff. So, like I said, I made school my home, but I also had so many friends, so I spent a lot of my time at my friend's house. I spent the night all the time. I felt like all my friends had these great families and just a fun time at home, so I always wanted to spend time there. Because at my house, I just felt like my older sisters always were doing their own thing, even though they loved me so much. But my dad worked a ton so that we could live the way that we did. And I often just felt like I couldn't really talk to him because he was always just so busy. So that's me going to my friend's house because I wasn't comfortable. So, we started moving around a lot when I was in middle school. First, we moved from Peoria to Dunlap, then Dunlap to Decatur, then Decatur back to Peoria. And so, fast forward to high school, I was still a straight A student, never even got a tardy or anything like that, just your classic perfect student, but I was a stoner. I started smoking lots of weed when I was about a junior or senior, and I got expelled for going to school super high. And my dad moved me to New York where I would live with my mom. That's my mom on the left. And living with her, I was still a 100% stoner. She had no idea. She thought I smoked, but I lived with my mom and my uncle and my 2 brothers. And again, straight A student, but smoked a lot. Hated being at home, made a bunch of friends, and that just became my life. Me and my mom went shopping all the time. We had a great relationship, but I only stayed for a year. And I flew back to live in Peoria, where I would start my I would start my senior year. Sorry, I moved around a lot. Started my senior year, graduated a semester early, and started working at 123 U&Me, which is a daycare center, so that I could start saving up for college because I decided I wanted to go to Mizzou. So, still a stoner. So I really needed money to save up for college before moving. And a lot of you don't know, but I started to work at a club in Peoria. And this time in my life, I didn't really think about anything or any of the decisions I was making. I just knew I needed money. I knew I needed it fast, so I just did it. And I saved up what I could, and I moved to Missouri. And so here I had all intentions to stop working at the club, but that summer I was living in this apartment complex. I had my own things. I felt like I was an adult, and I just thought everything was great, but I never stopped working at that club, and I moved there, so I kept working at the club. And then school time rolled around, and I missed summer welcome. I got really, really involved with drugs and alcohol and partying and the wrong people, and it was honestly a really dark time for me. And I started school, but I ended up dropping out after 1 semester. And either way, I felt like that was the right decision for me, but my life was a complete dark mess. Complete dark mess until my life was just dark. I just felt like a lost teenage stripper stuck in my head, stuck in my ways. Nobody knew about anything that was going on. And I was just surrounded by the wrong people. And I became very suicidal. And it was just honestly just a really dark period in my life. And so after about a year and a half of living in this dark hole, I felt like in my head, winter time rolled around and I was still doing those same things until one day I was on my way home from the club and I got pulled over. And I was under the influence and I had narcotics in the car, and that landed me right in jail. Now, granted, I didn't spend a lot of time in jail, but I did go to jail, and that basically did it for me. I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I knew that I was made for something better. I didn't know what, but I quit. And I just went back to where my heart was, which was childcare. And I started at this place called Bright Start, but as soon as they found out that I had been arrested, they turned me away and basically fired me after 1 week. But that's okay, because it landed me at this other daycare called End of the Rainbow, where I ended up working for a couple years. And so I started to get my life back on track. And I was just working. I got involved with Mary Kay. You guys probably know what Mary Kay is. It's just multi-level marketing makeup and things like that, just different makeup and cosmetics products. And they had a great self-help program. But I only did Mary Kay for a little bit, and I started with a new company called Amway. Now, Amway, this experience truly changed my life. It's basically multi-level marketing as well, and you learn how to make money, and you build a team, and you sell products. But the best part was my mentors, Preston and Elena, and this couple took me under their wing, and they showed me what it was like to be just an amazing person, and they mentored me, and they coached me, and they showed me how to dream, and they helped me come up with visions for my life, and we read books, and I made money, and they just became angels in my life. And so I did that for a really long time, well, for 2 years. And I just got to a point where I felt I was going to do something else, and I didn't know what that was, but I knew I really loved YouTube, and I loved makeup, and I wanted to have a great life of financial freedom. So I started focusing really hard on my YouTube channel. And I was just working at End of the Rainbow still, and I got into a really awesome relationship with a guy named Nick. You guys know Nick. And he was just this amazing person, and he loved me more than anybody else in this whole entire world. And we lived together, and we worked together, and we had this awesome relationship. And we had this awesome discussion. He told me I should just chase my dreams, and they got bigger and bigger, and so I left End of the Rainbow. And I started going full force on Maya's Dream House, and I started focusing on my YouTube channel. I wrote up a business plan. I started hosting seminars and makeup classes, had my own website, and I had all this childlike faith that Maya's Dream House was going to be something huge. And I started sharing my business plan with different companies and different businesses and just trying to figure out what was the next move to make my dreams a reality. But that childlike faith of mine just started dwindling out because I just kept getting turned down by all these people saying that it wasn't going to be possible and it couldn't be done. And I started to lose my faith. And I started to forget who I was. And I got distracted. And I started lashing out on the person that I really, really loved. And our relationship ended. And he ended up moving back home to Peoria. And I ended up moving in with my best friend in the entire world, Ashton. Ashton, I'm so sorry for this picture that I'm about to draw. It's not good at all. But I moved in with Ashton, and I got refocused, and I started working on my dreams and goals again, and I started focusing on my health, and I started focusing on my brain, and I took this odd job called Order Up, where I deliver food, but it became a school on wheels for me because while I do Order Up, I often listen to podcasts to people like Oprah, Tony Robbins, almost 30 podcasts, and I just grow myself every single day, and I'm training to be a life coach. And I started mending my relationship with my family, and I also started re-mending my relationship, or my friendship with Nick, might I say, because that was a really heavy burden on myself. And so that brings us to the current time of now, and I am in the best place of my entire life right now, but it would not be without all of those hardships and all of every single experience happening. It makes you the person that you are. And all of those experiences have made me more relatable, and it's just all part of the journey. So I just thank you guys, and I'm going to be sharing more with you guys about my journey. And I love you all. Thank you for watching and for getting to know me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Your journey is important. Have a good day.